Hello friends, in the previous tutorial there was something which is remaining that we have made the both fields optional. For example, name and name and profile picture. But if we do not give the name, then it is okay. But if we do not give the profile picture here, then it will give us error. It will give us error of file name because in the validation it is going to find the uh, file name of the uploaded file, because we have not uploaded the file, and file is optional for update profile of user. So but we do not have put the check on validation. Okay, we are going to there is a simple check which we will add, that const is valid equals to true if is if file exists, then we will finally return the is valid. And same thing needs to be done in the other validation. If file exists, then check on the file, otherwise do not put the validation. As you can see that the file is not changing, and it is also not throwing the error. But if we upload the file, then it will change the file. And also if we change the name, test123, and here you can see that everything is updating correctly. So here, so now this was the something which was remaining in the previous tutorial. Now in this tutorial that I have, as you can see the title, we are going to, because this code is getting messy, and as we go on further, this door this code is getting messy, so we are going to modularize this code, separate the different code into its folders or modules, so that this code can be increased fluently. Okay, now first we will create the folder for GraphQL, and in this folder we are going to create the folder of modules. And in modules, first I am going to do two things. First, the root type dot graphql, and second, or mainly the root module. And in the root module there will be two files. In every module there will be two files. First one is the GraphQL, which contains the typeDefs of the module, and the second one which contains the resolver of the module. So I am going to create the second file, root dot resolver dot js. And because we have also created the auth module, so I am going to create the another module, and same thing done for auth auth, and okay. Now there will be a single file which will merge all these type defs and resolvers, which is the entry point in the GraphQL. So there is the GraphQL folder, and in this folder there will be the module folder, and in this there will be multiple modules in the future. So uh, because we are dividing the schema and resolvers and type defs, so we need to combine all these into single one. So there will be two packages which we are going to use. First one is the load files packages, and the second one is the GraphQL tool merge, which will be used to merge the uh, type defs or resolvers both. Okay. Okay, so we have added the load files package, and second the merge package. So I am going to first put the content in those files, and then I am going to merge all these things. Okay, first we will decide what is the root query and root type def, and what is the auth type def. Okay, so now here we can see that the type user, type auth payload, these all are auth type. So I am going to put these here, and again, and I am going to comment out those things which I will put in the file. As we can see that mutation contains sign up, login, and update profile. These all belongs to the auth. So I am also going to put this in the type mutation. One thing you need to you need to sure about that this type must define only once, because this schema is this type def is going to merge, and it will be only the one. So if you define the multiple types with the same name, then it will be conflicting, so it will generate some errors. Okay, so now the only part is remaining is the query. Beware of defining the same type. Okay, now me belongs to the auth user, so I am going to define in the auth query. So you are thinking that I have told you that do not define the type with the same name, but I have defined the type query in two places. So I'm going to extend this type, previous type defined. So if you have defined the type once in the module, then you want to define the same type in another module, then you need to extend the previous type. Okay, so it will add this query in the previous one. So I will because we need to use the mutation in other places, so we need also to define the mutation in the root part. So I am going to define in this part here, and simply put the, because one mutation is at least necessary, otherwise it will generate some errors at the best of my knowledge. Okay, and also I am going to put the underscore, removing the hello. Okay, now we have defined the query and the mutation, and we will extend in every other module. So I have extended the query and I have also extended the mutation. So now in the index file I am going to use this package to load files. So load files, it will return the promise. So we need to wrap this in the asynchronous function. Okay, now how we can load the type defs and resolvers. So I am going to copy all the two lines. So here, okay, now I am going to change the path of this file. There are many ways to load these files. You can also create the custom loader, or you can create this loader, because we do not need to fetch the things from outside. So I am not going to use these things. Whenever in the future if we need to use the need to fetch the type def from outside, then we will define these loaders, JSON loader or URL loader or something else. We are now going to use this GraphQL file loader, or simply load files. I am going to use these load files. These are very simple. I am going to use this. Okay, now in this I am going to define the you can say regular expression in every directory. If what file it will load, it will load the file start with the ending with the GraphQL extension, and also define the same like thing here. Static, it will load in every directory from this current directory, means from index to the every inner directory, all the files which contain resolver dot resolver.js at the end. So we have successfully retrieved the schema, prepared this schema, and I will return this schema here, and I am going to export this function module.exports GraphQL modules. Now I am also going to put the resolvers here, resolvers, auth resolvers and root resolvers. So I am going to copy and paste all these resolvers which I have teach you in the previous videos. So first, mutation all belongs to the auth resolver. So okay, now I have created the mutation here and also the query here. Okay, now I am going to also going to copy the auth query from schema file, which is me query, and put this in here. Okay. Now the only part which is remaining is the root query or root mutation, because we know that there is no mutation for the root, and but there is one mutation we have defined in the root underscore mutation, and same for underscore query. So we are going to define these here. First I am going to export this resolver here. Resolver, and same thing I will do for the root query. I am going to remove all these things. I will resolve the underscore query with query string, because it will return the string. So I am going to just define the query string, and same thing I will do for mutation. Okay, these are the empty things which I have defined here. Okay, now I am going to import okay, we do not need to, because we have fetched with the load files method, so we do not need to export all these resolvers from here. Okay, okay, I have removed the exports, but it need the object. Okay, no, in the case of .graphql, we do not need to export the file, but in this case we need to export the, because it contain it needs when it will get the resolver, it will need to get the object from every resolver. So we need to export this so that it can get the object. Okay, so module dot exports equals to resolver, and same thing I will do for root resolver. So now uh, I think everything is done here. So I am going to just call this function in the main, replacing the old typeDefs and resolvers. These were the old types defs and resolvers. So I am going here. Okay, now require the entry point file of GraphQL. We do not need to write the file name if the file name is index.js. So I am going to destructure, because this function is async, so it will return the promise. So I am going to destructure this here. I am also going to move these two lines in the start Apollo server, so that I can destructure the typeDefs and resolvers from the promise which is returning by this function. So this function, because it is returning the promise, so it also need to be in the asynchronous function. So that is why I have put these two lines here. So I am going to get these two things, typeDefs resolvers GraphQL module. Now if I start the server, then it is giving us some error, because we have not put the upload scalar type in the root file. It is uncommented, as you can see. Okay, now I am going to put this, because it will be used in other files as well, so it need to be defined in the. So I am going to restart the server and run again. As you can see, server has been started successfully. So I am going to check the mutation whether they are working or not. So I am going to run the mutation of me, because the token has been expired, so that is why it is giving us the error. Okay, user is not defined, because we have taken all these things from schema, and we do not have get these imports from here to the resolvers. So I am going to put all these. We will remove the unused in the future. Okay, now first we need to change the path of all these things. What thing we need to change these paths. I have selected with all things with control D, and now I am going to modify the path from the home. Now this will be the path of the all these things. Okay, now I will also do for the root resolvers. Now give the path, and now it is working. So if I run again the mutation of login, then it is working fine. Now I will check all the mutations and queries, so that we can verify that whether we have correctly restructured the code. Now it is working. If I run the sign up mutation, then it is giving us that the email already exists. If I put the different email, then it is working fine. So now the last mutation which need to be checked is the upload file mutation. Okay, it is also working fine. We can check with the file how it is working or not. I think it has also been modified. Okay, that we have defined. We forgot to define something. Okay, we have defined the scalar type here in the query, GraphQL type, but we do not have put the resolver of scalar type over there. So we need to define in the root part, because it is the root query, root scalar type. So because it will be used in the other modules as well. So I am just going to put the here, and then I will check the it is now working fine. So if I remove these things, and also this one, then name and profile picture do not need to be changed. So it is working fine. So as you can see that everything has worked perfectly. So uh, we have modularized the code. This thing is getting very messy, because as we go on in this module, this will become more and more messy. So I need to make a separate function for these mutations. So I am going to just copy this function from here and write sign up mutation, and write this over there, const sign up mutation, and write this function here, and also do the same thing for login mutation. Login mutation, const login, login mutation, and also for the update profile. In the future we will every time define a separate function for each and everything, so that the code can be readable. So no, this is working fine. Okay. So this is very clean. I will also define a query section, me query. uh, in the future we will also put the comment on every single line of code so that the code can be readable as much as it can be. Okay, so now it looks good. We can read the resolver with the blink of eye that what are the queries and what are the resolvers in this module. We will also define the resolvers and types, same like we have defined in the auth module. Okay, thank you guys. One last thing, guys, I forgot to tell you about that. If you want to see the uh, loaded resolvers, then you can see this Apollo accept the resolvers array, so that is why it is not throwing error, because we are loading the resolvers from different files, and these are loading in objects. As you can see, query exists in two places, one from the root and one from the auth. So same goes for mutation exists in auth and in root, but scalar upload exists in only root. So we can also merge the schema to make only the single object, uh, which uh, which I can show you that merge typeDefs, mer- merge resolvers. Merge resolvers. With the help of merge resolvers, you can merge the resolvers into one single object. Okay, now you will see that the object is okay. Now, because I have put this, I do not have put this in here. So okay. Now you will see that it is the single object. Upload queries, all things will get merged. That is why I was telling you to not define the multiple types. Use the extend keyword if you have defined in one place. So because at the end it will all get merged. Same goes for the GraphQL. typedefs typedefs will also be loaded in array of objects. So as you will see in a second that it has been loaded. You cannot see the information over there, because it has loaded it into the kind of documents. If you want to first I will merge, and then I will show you how you can see this. uh, but let's convert this into the readable form, and then we can uh, check this out. So we need to use this load schema to load the .graphql type defs. So we need to use this over there. Okay, so we also need to install this npm I, and also we first I will copy this from here and put this over there. And load schema has also not been defined. So we also need to copy this from here and also install this package. So while these two packages are installing, then I am going to create the type defs and show you how you can see this. Okay, print schema. Using the function of print schema of GraphQL, you can read the typeDefs print schema, and then put typeDefs here, and also need to change the path of .graphql files. And if I show you, then you can see that we have successfully loaded the all these things. So you can see these things that it all has been merged. You can use these type defs, or load the type defs by using this way. It is up to you, it is totally up to you. I think prefer to load this using this way, so that in the future we can load from other sources, then we do not need to modify the code as much. Okay, type defs, and resolvers. So if I uncomment this out, type defs and resolvers, if I console this out, then here is the sorry okay, there is some mistake here. Okay, this is because I do not have put the schema in the schema function. Type defs print schema. Okay, now we can see this. These are the types. These are the types of queries, types of mutations, and these are their resolvers: scalar, upload, queries, and each and everything. Okay. Okay, thank you guys. You can choose whichever method you like. I have choose this method this way with the help of loader, because in the future if we need to print the type defs or resolver, then it do not affect the code very much. It is working fine. Okay, thank you guys, thank you.